I'm Geneva, London, and today I'm going to be reviewing When Life Gives You Mangoes by Gaynah. Let's get to it. So here's the breakdown. Clara is a young girl from Sycamore village. She enjoys going out and getting mangoes from different trees in her neighbourhood, and not much really happens in Sycamore. But soon, when a new girl called Rudy comes in from England, her best friend Gaynah starts acting less like a best friend, and soon Clara, with the help of Rudy, unveils a family secret. What is that family secret? So the main character in this book is Clara D. Hanson. Clara is a very kind, energetic and sensitive person. She really enjoys doing sports with her friends and also doing a lot of dares. She has to deal with a lot of friends and people that kind of make her a little stressed out sometimes. So the method that she uses, which is mentioned in this book, is that she counts down backwards, and it helps her calm down a bit so that she doesn't have to start arguments. What I like about her character is that she's very bubbly. She's kind of like me, where she's calm and energetic at the same time. And then she realizes that her friend is acting really strange. So she decides to go and figure that out using her uncle and a lot of her new friends that she makes along the way. What she also likes doing is she likes picking the fruits off of trees near her neighbours, but sometimes that causes a little bit of trouble with the neighbours because they don't really like her picking off the fruits. The second main character in this book that I'd say is quite notable is Clara's uncle, Eldorath, and he's a man who claims to see ghosts. And you get to see in the story if that is true or if it isn't. So basically, he's claimed to see ghosts, but the pastor and leader of the village doesn't really believe him and is not down with that. So he's kind of been on an ongoing campaign against him. So that's caused a lot of people to believe that he's a lot of crazy things, like a witch doctor. But he actually just claims to see people's ghosts and helps people to get rid of them. And how he plays a big part in this story is because he helps Clara, and he tells her that she's kind of like him, which is quite interesting. You'll see why in the book. I feel like in Corinne's approach, she really showed how in Clara's town, everybody knew each other, and they kind of had a neighborhood watch situation where basically all the neighbors would know where you've been if you go out somewhere. So everybody looks out for each other. I really enjoyed that. And then also I like the approach where she talks about how a friendship is kind of going into different journeys, and how Clara's friendship with Gaynah happens in a bit of a twist and turn friendship, especially in the middle of the book. I really enjoyed the writing style of this book because it was from Clara's perspective, and you got to see how she felt and how she handled the situations. I'd also say that in this book, it goes from past to present. So you've really got to pay attention and make sure that you look because it will tell you under the chapter number where if it's before or after. It confused me at first because I was confused what was happening in the past and what was happening in the present. But once you look at the before or after on it, it will help you get an idea of how both the past of last summer intertwines with the summer that is currently happening from Clara's perspective. I also like how the author talked about the differences between Clara and Gaynah and how there were many differences in her friendship. I feel like those were some like key elements for me. I noticed a lot of cultural references in this book. For example, it mentions a couple of known artists, for example Bob Marley and Coffee. And then also there's a couple of parts in the book that made me want to drool, which was basically the food parts, where it talked about a lot of my favorites. For example, carrot cake, hard dough bread, which I found out it actually means hard dough bread because it's made of hard dough. So I got to learn something new there. And then it also mentioned fried fish and curried goat and a lot of my favorite stuff. And then the book also mentions a lot of things that I feel quite familiar with. And I'm kind of guessing that this place, Sycamore, is in Jamaica. Maybe, I don't know, but I know that this place is in the Caribbean. I'd say the moral of the story is to know your friends, because when you know your friends properly, that means that you don't expect too many surprises, and that you also get to understand them better. I'd also say another moral of this story is to challenge what you see, because sometimes you might be told lies and it might be accepted because it's being told by people who are leading your city. So you've got to make sure that you know what's the truth and the lies. So here are my final thoughts. I really enjoyed this book and I rated it 5 stars because of the adventure, emotion, and also the fact that they're basically uncovering a secret that's been hidden. I thought this book was a mystery when I first read it, but it turns out from a bit of research and reading it again that it's a psychological fiction which talks about what goes on in Clara's head, which I found quite interesting and quite fitting for what has been happening in the book, which you'll find out once you read it. So I really enjoyed that this book had a mostly black characters. Specifically, most of the characters were of Caribbean heritage, like me. So I loved that because it felt really cool to see characters that were of Caribbean heritage, because I felt really represented when I saw that. So what I'd say is this book was really fun, talked about friendships, but also had a cool tone to it where you basically saw the seriousness of what Clara was being impacted by. For that reason, it's 5 stars. After reading this book, I would recommend it to preteens, specifically preteen girls, because most of the named cast are female, so I think it shows a lot about a lot of girls. And then I'd also say I'd recommend this to people who enjoy reading about friendships and about like having like some like mysteries to be solved. But I'd also recommend this book to people who like reading psychological fictions. Why, hello there, I see you've made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. See, as a gift for you, in the link down below, I have a article that places my full thoughts on this review and also this video in the link down below on my website. And while you're at it, make sure to, if you want to hit me up at social media, it's at I am Geneva London on all platforms. And before we go, let us just say, hit the like button if you like this video, and make sure to hit subscribe. And if you want to see more from me, hit the notification bell so that you get all caught up with my content. See you later.